All right, welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We're diving into a pretty big problem today, chronic lower back pain.
Yeah, it's a pain in the neck, literally. Well, maybe not literally, but you know what I mean.
Well, maybe not the neck, but definitely the back. And, we've got this study from bone research that's suggesting that, well, we might be able to actually do more than just treat the pain.
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe we can actually reverse the spinal disc degeneration that causes it in the first place. It's pretty amazing.
That's a pretty huge shift in how we think about age-related conditions,
Right.
Instead of just managing them, we could actually reverse them.
Totally, yeah. So maybe you can just lay it out for us. Why is chronic lower back pain such a common issue?
Well, it all comes down to these things called intervertebral discs. They're like these little cushions between the bones in your spine.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
And they wear down over time, right?
Right.
And when that happens, you get pain.
Okay, so what's going on inside those discs that causes them to wear down?
Well, the key thing is that there's this gel-like center in each disc called the nucleus pulposus.
Nucleus pulposus.
Yeah, it's an awful. But basically, the cells in there, they start to age and they stop functioning properly. And that's what leads to the degeneration.
So it's like the cells are the engine of the problem.
Exactly. And right now, how we treat back pain, it's mostly about managing the symptoms, right?
Yeah, painkillers, physical therapy, sometimes even surgery.
Right. Those things can help with the pain, but
Yeah.
they don't address the root cause, the degeneration itself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's so exciting about this new research.
So how did they actually target those aging cells in the disc?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. They use these things called engineered plasmids. They carry these special factors, OCT4, KLF4, and SOX2.
Okay, those sound familiar. Aren't those like reprogramming factors, the kind that can turn back a cell's biological clock?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And to get these factors into the cells, they use these tiny sacs called exosomes. Think of them like delivery vehicles.
Ah, so like they package up the reprogramming factors and send them straight to the aging cells.
Precisely. But they didn't stop there. They actually enhance these exosomes with a protein called cavin-2.
Cavin-2, what does that do?
Well, cavin-2 helps the exosomes get absorbed by the nucleus pulposus cells more effectively. It's like giving the delivery drivers a GPS to find the right address.
Makes sense. And so they injected these reprogrammed exosomes directly into the damaged discs of rats.
Yeah, they called them OKS at MXO, which stands for OKS-loaded exosomes.
It's sketchy.
Right. So they injected them into the rats, and the results were pretty impressive.
Did they actually see these older cells acting young again?
They did. They saw a decrease in these markers of aging called P16, P21, and P53.
So the cells were looking younger on a molecular level.
Yes, and they also saw less DNA damage in the disc cells. But here's the truly remarkable part. The epigenetic landscape of the cells actually shifted to a more youthful state.
What does that even mean?
Think of epigenetics like the instructions that tell a cell how to behave. And in these older cells, those instructions had gotten kind of messed up. But the reprogramming helped reset them, making the cells act younger.
Wow. So these cells weren't just looking younger, they were acting younger too.
Yes. And they started dividing again, and the discs began producing healthier proteins.
So they were rebuilding themselves.
Exactly. And they could actually see these physical improvements in the rats, too. MRI scans showed that the treated discs had better height and hydration than the untreated ones.
So the treatment actually helped the discs physically recover.
It seems so. And what's maybe even more important for the rats, behavioral tests indicated that they were in less pain.
That is huge. So what does all of this mean for us humans?
Well, it's important to remember that this study was done in rats, so we can't just assume the same thing will happen in humans. But it offers a really promising glimpse into the possibility of non-surgical regenerative treatments for lower back pain in humans.
And with 80% of people experiencing lower back pain at some point, that would be incredible.
Right. I mean, just imagine, instead of just masking the pain, we could actually address the root cause and potentially reverse the damage.
That would be a game changer.
It would. And this feels like it's part of a larger trend in medicine where we're starting to move away from just treating symptoms and towards actually addressing the root causes of age-related problems.
Yeah, this idea of regenerative medicine, where we can selectively reset the aging clock in certain cells, pretty mind-blowing.
Right. And if this kind of approach could be applied to other age-related conditions like heart disease or Alzheimer's, it could completely change how we think about aging in healthcare.
So the key takeaway here is that this study, while early, offers really compelling evidence that we might be able to reverse age-related degeneration, at least in spinal discs. And it opens up a whole world of possibilities for regenerative medicine.
I think that's a great way to put it.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What if this kind of targeted cellular rejuvenation could be applied to other parts of the body? What could that mean for extending our healthy lifespans and treating diseases that we currently just manage? It's something worth pondering. Thanks for diving in with me today.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, that's it for this deep dive, folks. Until next time.